All right, in this video, I'm going to teach you how to make a blackout poem from the text that you found in yesterday's gallery walk. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go to File, Page Setup, and you're going to change it from Standard to Custom and make it 8.5 by 11. So make it look like a piece of paper. And that gives us just a little bit more room to work with. And then the second thing you're going to do is I get rid of the title slide, subtitle slide, and I'm going to add a text box. Takes up about the same amount of space. And then I'm going to go and find the piece of text that was most meaningful to me. So I pulled a section of the article from Generation Resilient that really spoke to me. And I'm going to put that in my text box. And I will need to play around a little bit with the size of the text and the formatting to get it how I like it. I might try to center it, for example, so it looks cooler, and make sure it all fits on one slide. So this is where the blackout part begins. So with your text box selected, you're going to go to Fill Color, and you're going to put a non-black color in the background. And if it shows up highlighted white like mine does, it's just an indicator to you that the text has white highlight in the background, so you have to go to Highlight Color and then Transparent. So my text box is full of any non-black color, so I can see my text. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the highlight tool and highlight the words I want to keep in white. So I highlight them, then I select the color. All right, so once I've got all the words that I want to keep highlighted in white, that's when I can go to my fill color and I can switch it to black so it blacks out the words that I don't want to see. You also have the option to switch it to another color if you want your final piece of art to be, let's say, purple, but then you need to go back and turn all of the text purple as well so that the text you don't want will disappear. So from here is where you can play around with adding some images. So I go Insert Image, search the web, and since this poem is kind of about making it through a hard time, one of the things that I searched for when I created mine was light at end of tunnel. All right, that's kind of like an image that I wanted. When you find the image that you want, you can put it on your poem. And then you want to play around with a couple of things. If you go to Format, Options, one of the biggest things to play around with when you're layering pictures and text like this is transparency. So if you put the transparency up, you can actually see the image and the words at the same time. So you can kind of get that to the right place that you want it, so that you can see both. And the other thing that you can do is you can set or play with the order. So if I send it backwards, it goes all the way behind the purple. And if I click on it again and play with the order, I can also put the purple behind the picture. So you want to play around with getting it in the right space, and then brightness is another thing you can play with to help the words come through. So if I increase the brightness, it's easier to read the words behind it. Contrast also can kind of play around with brightness. So if you want to make it look more stylized and less realistic, you could use contrast for that. So you can see in my final here that I added a few more pictures and played around with the transparency of this image as well, so you can see some of the words behind it. to kind of really make it seem layered and interesting. So you want at least 2 pictures and some words showing through. Not all the words have to come from the same piece of text, but the idea is that you are creating a piece of art here in the slides. And when you're done, you're going to take your whole slide, you're going to select it, you're going to go Control-C to copy it, and then you're going to paste it into our class presentation.